Hello Carnage Cravers, welcome back to Carnage Corner. Today we're going to be doing a little bit of Carnage booking. That's where, I talk a little bit about like what's going on in the world of professional wrestling, more accurately WWE. I don't follow a lot of other, well, I follow, but I don't watch. WWE I watch. Okay, but we're going to talk about the Fastlane pay-per-view that happened. That was the last pay-per-view. We're going to talk a little bit about WrestleMania, the pay-per-view that's coming up. Talk about a little bit about what has happened, what is supposedly going to happen, and ultimately I'm going to share my opinion on what I think should happen. So this might actually end up being more than one video, because there's actually quite a bit to go over. So I hope you've got your coffee and hang in there with me. Alrighty, so first things first, I'm not going to go, just so you know, I'm not going to go over every match at Fastlane, because there was a few, and some of them, in all honesty, just weren't important. One that was important was the United States Championship match. It was a 2 out of 3 falls match. We have the champion Kalisto versus the challenger Alberto Del Rio. These two have swapped that title back and forth a couple of times in the last month. So it's a pretty heated rivalry. And Kalisto won, 2 falls to 1. And my personal thoughts, the right guy won. Alberto Del Rio does not need the U.S. title. Okay, some very, very smart people who from the world of wrestling that I listen to and I respect have said it a million times that either the guy can make the title or the title can make the guy. Alberto Del Rio does not need the U.S. title, but Kalisto does to an extent, because the title brings him a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? Shit, where's my thesaurus? Anyways, it brings credibility. It brings a little more credibility to him because he's got gold around his waist. And if you go beyond that, depending on how they book him, if they have him in these awesome title defenses, it could really raise the prestige of the U.S. title as well. As far as what's next for Kalisto, personally, I hope to see him have a long underdog run. Meaning, I look for him to have a long run with the United States title, having at least one, if not more, title defense every month, okay? And always have it be against somebody bigger than him. Have him always be the underdog. Have him always look like he can't possibly pull this one out, and then he does. And that'll make him, because they seem to be trying to like make them their ipso de facto, like their next Rey Mysterio, which obviously there will never be another Rey Mysterio. Rey was one of a kind, but Kalisto's a man of a similar body type and size, and so they're looking to kind of fill that void. So if they book him like that and they successfully, continuously have him win, just fight through and pull it out and pick up the wins, it'll really make him. As far as what's next for ADR, I might be one of the few, but I'm kind of getting a little bit of, I'm entertained by the League of Nations, and I think that it might possibly be a cool idea to have Del Rio and Wade Barrett, both in the League of Nations, have them start tagging and have them go after the tag team titles. And I say this because the tag team division's kind of, it's not as bad as it once was, but it is kind of floundering in a lot of ways. You don't have a whole hell of a lot for the tag team division. And so adding them, I think, could, because they're not small guys. So adding them, you have another team that is, substantial size, substantial power, and not to mention experience, because both of those guys have been around for a good long while now. So that's what I think. Moving into the Intercontinental Championship match, it was Kevin Owens versus Dolph Ziggler. Owens won. Absolutely the right guy won. No disrespect to Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler is an awesome worker. Dolph Ziggler is an awesome character, performer. He's a great guy. Okay, he's great at what he does. But with Ziggler, we've been there, we've done that, we've seen that time and time again. Ziggler seems to be in a booking rut. I don't know if he pissed somebody off, but like it's just the same thing over and over again with him. That's all they're doing with him. And I would like to see them do something else with him. But having Owens as the Intercontinental Championship, it does something for the Intercontinental title. Owens is young and Owens is hungry, and he, just last night on Raw, he got messed up by the Big Show, and the first thing he wants is his title. And that's an awesome thing that he does, because it shows you what the title's supposed to mean. So, and that's something WWE has gotten away from a little bit, is what the title means. Title used to be the most prestigious thing in the company, and they don't put the emphasis on the title as much as they used to. Personally, I liked it better when the emphasis was on the title. Because, I understand that the wrestlers, they go out there and they do what they do to entertain us. But what would be more entertaining to me is if you convince me you're out there fighting for a prize. That would entertain me more. But neither here nor there. Okay? So, again, the right guy won. As for what's next for Owens, I would really love to see Owens work a program with AJ Styles. Those two will tear the house down, rebuild it, and tear it down again. Okay? And I would really like to see Owens versus AJ for the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania. If I was booking, AJ goes over. But, hey, what do I know? Okay, moving on to what's next for Ziggler. I think a heel turn would really work well for Ziggler. I think turn him heel, okay, because he's a good one. He's been heel before. He's a good heel. Turn him heel and have him work a program with Dean Ambrose for the WWE Championship. Obviously, this would have to be after WrestleMania, because I have a hard time seeing Dean winning that title before WrestleMania. But I think in the near future, Ziggler heel working Ambrose face for the WWE title, I think money's written all over that. My opinion. Okay, going into the Divas titles match, and that is the last time you ever hear me call it the Divas title, because as far as I'm concerned, it is the women's championship, because diva is a derogatory term for a spoiled little shit, and these women worked way too hard in order to be called divas. They're not. They are female wrestlers. They are strong women. They're not divas. I hate that term. So, moving on from there, it was Charlotte, the daughter of Ric Flair, versus Brie Bella. Charlotte wins. Definitely the right person won. Putting Brie in the match is great, because Brie is an awesome opponent who will elevate Charlotte. Also, Brie is a quintessential babyface right now because of what's going on with her family. Hopefully they all turn out okay. But it was a good move putting Brie against Charlotte, because it made for a good... I hate calling a match a filler match, but it made for a good filler match. All it did was elevate Charlotte more, which is what you're looking for heading into WrestleMania. So, yeah, I would say that it all happened the right way. As for what's next for Charlotte, I personally believe that Charlotte should drop the title to Becky Lynch at WrestleMania in a triple threat with Becky, Charlotte, and Sasha. That's what I think. And as far as what's next for Brie Bella, listen, Brie's been thinking about and talking about possibly retiring for almost 2 years now. And, in light of what's going on with her, maybe it's time to. Maybe it is time to ride off into the sunset while everybody's still got their health. And, figure out what you do after you're done bumping. From there, we'll lead into, almost running out of time here, but we're going to lead into AJ Styles versus Chris Jericho. AJ won. He won the rubber match. This feud should, by all respects, be over now. I definitely think the right guy won. AJ won with the calf crusher. That's what they're calling that now, I guess. Submission move. Personally, I think they're probably going to have him go with that for his finisher rather than the Styles Clash, simply because, again, no hack alert here. I have heard this from another source, a guy who used to be a wrestler who runs a radio show, but he said it. But honestly, I was thinking, I love wrestling, I watch and I study, and he's absolutely right when he says that the Styles Clash is a little bit of a difficult move for a larger man to take. I've seen a couple of guys have a little bit of difficulty getting into position with it, and so they just may move away from that move. As for what's next for AJ, I want to see AJ as Intercontinental Champion. I would love to see him make a run for that title. And as far as what's next for Jericho, Jericho's at the stage of the game where Jericho, he could do whatever you want with him. He could be main event, but he doesn't need to be main event. Personally, I think the best spot for Jericho, bring up some kid from NXT. Stick him with Jericho. Have him work Jericho for a month or two. Let Jericho work with this kid night in, night out. The kid will be, by the time Jericho is done with him, the kid will be ready to rock and roll. So I think at this stage of the game, Jericho is ready to start making people. And maybe one of the first ones would be, I don't know, maybe somebody like Tyler Breeze, or bring up Baron Corbin. Let Jericho make a bigger man. Jericho bump his ass off for him and make Corbin look unstoppable. There's a lot of things you can do. I don't have a preference as to who Jericho works with, but I do think that's the role Jericho needs to fill, is the role of, I'm going to help elevate you now. And Jericho, from all I've seen, seems like a pretty cool guy and more than willing to do that. So that being said, that's going to wrap up part 1 of my Fastlane review. Be sure to join me next time for part 2, where I'll talk about the WWE title match, and we're going to discuss the matches that have been announced for WrestleMania, and also the matches that I think should appear on the card for WrestleMania. So until next time, remember, Carnage is right around the corner.